The Secretary and First Lady will present the award to each of the women as I call their name and read a brief overview of their impressive accomplishments. We would appreciate if you could hold your applause until I finish reading the citation for each individual. Zarifa Ghaffari of Afghanistan. After successfully launching and operating a women-focused radio station, Zarifa became the first mayor of Maidan Shar in conservative Wardak province in Afghanistan, and at the age of 26. She is being honored for defying death, threats, and showing that a woman can lead, even in conservative and conflict-affected Afghanistan, and for inspiring women and girls across the country. Zarifa, please join the Secretary and First Lady. Thank you. Lucy Kacharian of Armenia. As a dedicated journalist, Lucy is being honored for raising awareness and leading a movement against gender-based violence, championing the rights of children with mental health issues, and emerging as a leading voice fighting discrimination against women and children. Lucy, please join the Secretary and the First Lady. Shala Humbatova of Azerbaijan. A dedicated human rights lawyer, Shala is being honored for her work defending fundamental freedoms in Azerbaijan, including for marginalized groups, and being a strong advocate for her clients in politically sensitive cases, despite significant personal and professional risk. Jimena Galarza of Bolivia. A journalist with over 25 years of experience, Jimena risked her career and her freedom to expose election fraud. She is being honored for her work to support democracy and expose corruption, electoral fraud, and violations of democratic freedoms in her country. Claire Ouadrago of Burkina Faso. Claire is the president of Sangma Association for Women's Development. She is being honored for her visionary efforts and leadership to promote positive solutions to eliminate female genital mutilation and cutting, and her role in empowering women in rural areas, even as Burkina Faso has descended into a state of ongoing insecurity. Sergül Sopay. Born in the Ala Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture of Xinjiang and now living in Sweden, Sergül is being honored for her bravery in standing up against the oppression of the Chinese Communist regime and not backing down from her commitment to others. Sergül became one of the first victims in the world to speak publicly about the repressive campaign against Muslims and ethnic minorities in Xinjiang, and her testimony was among the first evidence to reach and spark an international response. Susanna Liu of Malaysia. Susanna is being honored for her selfless dedication to fight on behalf of members of religious minorities who've disappeared in Malaysia or face persecution for their beliefs. She has endured police harassment and death threats, but has never stopped actively pursuing justice, including on behalf of her husband, Christian pastor Raymond Koh, who was abducted in 2017. Amaya Copens of Nicaragua. Amaya is one of the leaders of the 19th of April student movement in Nicaragua. She was abducted by Nicaraguan police from her residence after participating in a peaceful protest. We honor her today for her strength and tenacity in standing up for justice and against the Sandinista government and the violent repressive tactics of its security forces, as well as her acts of kindness and generosity on behalf of mothers of political prisoners who were on hunger strike. Jalila Haider of Pakistan. Known as the Iron Lady of Balochistan, Jalila is a human rights attorney who is being honored for not only strengthening opportunities for women and children, but also for taking up the cause of other vulnerable communities in Pakistan. Amina Kulani of Syria. A survivor of the Assad regime's detention and torture centers, Amina is being honored for her fearless dedication to helping the families of forcibly disappeared Syrians and as a founding member of Families for Freedom, a women-led organization launched in 2017 by families whose loved ones had been detained and disappeared in Syria. Yasmin Al-Qari of Yemen. Yasmin is being honored for her work fostering support for women displaced by conflict and to change social norms to empower women's meaningful participation in civil society and the UN-led peace process in Yemen. She and her sister established the Marib Girls Foundation in 2017, which advances efforts to combat the recruitment of child soldiers and foster support for women displaced by the ongoing conflict in Yemen. Dr. Rita Nyampinga of Zimbabwe. A steadfast human rights defender and activist, Rita is being honored for her protection of and respect for the rights of prisoners, especially women in detention, and for fighting for a fair and just legal system in Zimbabwe. Please join me in again congratulating all of our award winners today. Zarifa Ghaffari of Afghanistan to the lectern to deliver brief remarks on behalf of our group of awardees.
Madam First Lady, dear Ms. Trump, dear Mr. Secretary Pompeo, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear citizens of United States of America and the world, dear brave women of Afghanistan and brave women of the world, wherever you are fighting for the rights of women at this every time. It's truly an honor to be with you today and the presence of so many amazing women leaders from Bolivia to Burkina Faso and from Syria to Malaysia. Before I even begin, I want to thank everyone around the world who have fought for women's empowerment. It was not so long ago that most women were considered property, and sadly, in some part of the world, it's still the same. Throughout the modern era, there has been one global leader in the fight for women's rights, and that's the United States of America. To the American people, to the American government, let me say thank you. Thank you for all of you have done to improve conditions for women around the world. Thank you for the honor to speak to you today on behalf of my fellow awardees. It's humbling to be honored today alongside heroes like Amina Kulani, Rita Nyampinga, and Amaya Coppens, whom were imprisoned for their activism. Heroes like Lucy Kochorian, and who launched a movement against sexual harassment in Armenia. Heroes like Jalila Haidar, who despite threats has worked tirelessly to protect ethnic minorities in Pakistan. My name is Zarifa Ghaffari. Actually, I'm not a hero. I'm just the mayor of Maidan Shahr, a city in southern side of capital. It's a conservative place, a place where men aren't used to seeing women in position of authority, a place where some men resist women in authority. When I start my job, the men at the municipal office refused to acknowledge me and my authority. A mob came and chased me away. They thought that was the end of that. But I came back. I came back and I stood my ground. A few years ago, I would not have expected that they would ever hear me and my voice. Now, I'm even listened and to be treated with full of respect. In the news, the women of Afghanistan are often seen as victims, and it is true that women have been bearing the burden of war. But we have other stories to tell about women who fought and fighting for their rights and do not give up. Like example, in the 1920s, Soraya Tarzi became the Queen Consort of Afghanistan. It was about the time when women here in the United States achieved an amendment of the Constitution that granted them the right to vote. Soraya campaigned for women's rights and education. I have no nostalgia for monarchy, but Soraya was a role model. I think of her whenever I'm frustrated and when people tell me, give up, Zarifa, leave this office, stay at home, take care of your family matters. Whatever we women of worth may have already achieved, let us not take it for granted. It could be taken back from if we are not vigilant and strong. When I walk around in Wardak province, I know that other girls and women look at me and definitely will say, I am smart, why I can do whatever Zarifa is doing. I'm sure they will definitely say. I would like to thank the United States of America and the Afghan government, especially respected President Dr. Mohammad Ashraf Ghani and his wife, respected Ms. Rula Ghani, for standing with our women and for taking women empowerment seriously. It can contribute to peace and stability. Women of my generation have not forgotten the reign of the Taliban, and we are, as always, worried for the future. Therefore, let me ask for your continued support to ensure that Afghan peace process does not erase the gains that have been made since the dark days of the Taliban regime. Good luck, love, and respect to all of you. Remember us, and God bless you all.